Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And with Bitcoin being a couple weeks in the green and nearly hitting $8,000 today, everyone's asking just how high Bitcoin can go. And so that's what I'm going to be covering in this video, talking about where I believe Bitcoin will actually stop, where I think it can retrace, and how I think it's going to react at these points. So if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video. And do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this. Now, first things first, I do want to say I have not been posting a lot recently. If you guys can't tell already, I have had bronchitis, and that's why there has not been as many videos, but I'm ready to get back into the flow of things. And when I left off last, we were in this consolidation zone at around $5,700. Now, with this happening, it was forming higher lows and higher highs. Now, this was a sign of continuation, saying that there is more bullish presence to come. I did end up trying to short the heaviest zone in the history of Bitcoin's resistance, being around $6,400, $6,500, mainly because of the fact that it's right over in here. And if you guys can't see this, this was just a brutal zone of resistance in Bitcoin. However, it blew through that with absolutely no problem. And with that happening, it is a very, very bullish thing for Bitcoin. Now, I don't want to say that this is just going past previous highs. I think it's too early to say anything like that. But what I can say is that we passed our first major form of swing high resistance, in a very long time, really kind of saying that the bear market is over. Now, that's not to say that we can't pull back, but I think that it's something that, you do have to notice that in one fell swoop, we broke the hardest resistance in the history of Bitcoin, something that was tested, 6, 7, even 8 times over here. So many times it was tested, and we really just broke all of that in one fell swoop to the upside. Now, it's possible that we just fall back down here and all that's for nothing. However, it is something to note that just the ability to do something like that is extremely bullish, and that's not something to take lightly. In addition to this, we broke previous resistance over here at around 6,800, which was another very heavy resistance, and again at around 7,400, which was another heavy resistance because of the fact that that was the last real swing high from 2007, or excuse me, from 2018, before the ultimate breakdown over here. So thus being above these levels, the next form of resistance is going to be around $8,300 in this area, give or take a little bit of money, because that is where the next swing high on Bitcoin is. And in between these two zones, you see very, very little resistance. So with Bitcoin moving up and really hitting $8,000 today, being a more so of a psychological resistance more than anything else, it has started seeing a little bit of pullback. Again, nothing too significant, and I think that's the biggest thing in this zone, is that even when we're hitting these resistance lines, we're not retracing anywhere. We retraced $100 from hitting this resistance, and that is it. The buying pressure is so high in here. And I know that there's news to come out with this, and obviously this has been an extremely frustrating area for anyone to short. I don't think anyone should be shorting this. Really no one should have been shorting this past 6K. I did try one time myself, but there's really no reason for it anymore. Because after this heaviest of resistance broke, if this broke, then really anything above this range can break. Now, Now, the next really heavy form of resistance is going to be up here at around $11,000 to $12,000. Now, do I think that we can hit that? I'm not sure. That's very, very high before seeing any sort of pullback. We've seen it before, but even when we've seen these runs over here to the left before, we have seen pullback before, even when we go parabolic. So it's not something to say that I don't think we can see pullback, because eventually we are going to see pullback. And the scary part about this is that we know that when things go parabolic up and they don't set any form of support, they can go just as easily parabolic back down. So with this happening on Bitcoin over here, you can see that there is really no support laid until we get back to into the 5,000s, really the upper 5,000s. Now, you can be saying over here that this $6,400 range, where we broke out of, is going to be support, in which it will, but there's really no, I don't know how to say this, close consolidation support on Bitcoin, because the fact that if you're just looking at this candle over here, you're saying, okay, well, this is a very bad situation, because whenever we do hit that resistance, whether that's $8,000, whether that's $10,000, whether that's $20,000, whatever it may be that this goes all the way up to, because right now it looks like there's just nothing stopping it. But whenever it does end up hitting resistance, wherever that may be, it is going to have a very hard run back downwards. And that's the thing that I want to be very cautious about, because again, maybe this does rip another $5,000-$10,000. Honestly, at this point, I don't know, because it's getting driven off of news instead of technicals, and that's really not my forte. So with this being driven by news now, news really gets in FOMO. And with FOMO, really, you just have to speculate where the price is going to go. Yes, I can draw up these technical levels, but I don't think it's going to mean much, because if the strongest levels in technical history on the history of Bitcoin were broken in one fell swoop, what do some of these guys have that can stop it? And that's kind of the argument over here. So with this being driven by news and FOMO at this point, there's really no telling where this can go. However, I do know one thing, is that from a technical standpoint, whenever this does hit resistance, again, wherever that may be, it's not going to have anything to stop itself until it gets probably back down to at least 6K. So that's the thing I'm a little bit scared about, is that it could have, probably a $2,000 free fall. Again, the run has been absolutely phenomenal. Our breakout was at 4,000. We're currently almost at 8,000. That's doubling your money if you would have bought the, FOMO'd into the breakout. However, I do want to say, be careful in here. If this does end up seeing resistance here, or maybe it's up here, it's going to have a very, very hard retrace, just because of the lack of support that Bitcoin is laid over here. And that is what makes me a little bit nervous about these parabolic run-ups. And you guys do know that I don't like them, because they cause the markets to crash just as fast as they go upwards. So my initial targets over here are going to be any of these previous highs, and I'll go ahead and circle some of these guys. And I think that the next major resistance is going to be this guy at around $11,000 to $12,000. This whole little range up here is going to be a very, very hard resistance for Bitcoin. The next one is going to be around $8,400. It is a little bit stronger than 74 was. 74 did not give us much trouble at all. We did see a little bit of pullback, but again, it was just bought back up. I think the big thing about this range is that the buying pressure is so high, and that whenever the price does dip, it's immediately bought and back up so fast, it's as if it almost never even happened. Again, we had one red candle on the day over here, but if you look at this in the grand scheme of things, it's just a massive compilation of just green candle after green candle. And if you look at this from the weekly perspective, it just has been nothing but green over and over and over again. And you're having $1,000, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 candles on Bitcoin when the prices are this low, and that's not something that you see every day, and it's not something that we've seen in a long time. So with this approaching its previous resistance levels over here, I am being very careful. I am absolutely not shorting it yet. I think that there's absolutely no reason. Again, this is looking like it's running out of, well, actually, I'm sorry, that's the wrong chart. It certainly does. This is something actually I guess I talked about a while ago. You can tell from the MACD over here that this was losing levels of negative momentum on the MACD. You can see the exact same thing from the RSI. I talked about this from a while ago, and a lot of previous macro videos that I've done on Bitcoin. But from the weekly's perspective over here, I'm not shorting anything in this range. There's really no reason to. It's getting driven by news and even FOMO, which is why I kind of want to stay away from it. Because if technicals aren't at the thing driving the price, it's not usually the way that I like to trade, and it's not something that I'm experienced at. I don't like trading off of news. I like trading more so off of technicals, just because that's what I'm better at. But with this ultimately happening on Bitcoin, I guess my final words are, these are my levels. Again, probably around 8,300, then 9,800, and then probably anywhere from 11,500 all the way up to $12,000, being my really my next targets. Now, do I think it can hit those? I definitely think that it's a possibility. Again, only time will tell. I think that the biggest case for the bulls right now is that there's just no one selling. There's no one shorting. There's no one selling. There's only buyers coming in here. Any dips that happen are immediately bought up, and this is encouraging people not to sell, because any of the people who do sell are just going to, continuously lose money, because the fact that it's just going to go higher. Maybe they're not losing money, so to say, but they're not getting as much as they would have if they would have just held. So selling is really being discouraged in this range, and I think that is the biggest thing for the bulls, discouraging people from selling. And I think that once Binance opens back up, you could actually see a very, very large dump in the price action of Bitcoin, because the biggest problem with this is that so many people's funds are locked into Binance that they're not able to take them out. They're not able to take profit on any of the things that they have. And I think that ultimately, when Binance opens back up, I think you could see a potential sell-off in Bitcoin. Just something, from a more so just a fundamental standpoint of how markets work. If you have the largest exchanges in the world, keep people from withdrawing and everything, I think that could be something that happens, that when they do open up withdrawals again, you could see a potential sell-off in the price action of Bitcoin. So time will tell with that, but for the short term being, this thing can absolutely, there's really no telling where it's going to go. These are my targets. This is where I believe it's going to go, but At this point, if you guys don't know what the news was, it was stuff about Bitcoin futures coming out and the ICE approving it, and I think it was the Bitfinex IPO or something like that. There's really just a bunch of different things coming together, being a bunch of good news in cryptocurrencies. So really this driving the price up, absolutely phenomenal for anyone who holds cryptocurrency. Congratulations on anyone who has made gains during this. I know a lot of people in the Discord were talking about how they're making 1,000% on this run or 300% on this run. Absolutely phenomenal. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.